Righty, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see from basically 3/4 of my screen over here, we're back on the Wuthering Waves subreddit, the official one actually, which I widely consider to be the most heavily astroturfed subreddit in Gacha at the moment. The number of posts that you'll see from here that are basically just full of complete absolute nonsense and then are heavily upvoted by, members of the community that are actively trying to make the game worse is insane. And this is one example here of a post that I don't necessarily think was made with astroturfing intent in mind, but it was picked up, carried, and proliferated in perhaps some of the worst ways possible. And so let's just go ahead, right? You see this post over here, a short open letter to Kuro Games with what looks like an ass crack emoji. So that's pretty much indicative of what the rest of the post is basically going to be. We actually got warned in advance. So before I actually dive on into it and start talking about all the stuff that's in here, we got to see the level of engagement that this bad boy got. Wow, 6.6k upvotes. I think it's actually the most highly upvoted post in the subreddit across the past couple of days. Let's just do a quick little check for ourselves. All right, top of the week. Nope, that one's slightly higher, but it's in the same vein. Nice little comic over here, and it's gonna be number 3. Boy, oh boy, aren't you excited to read this? So let's go ahead, let's break it all down. Let's take a deep dive into what I'll consider to be the worst feedback the game has ever gotten and the biggest instance of astroturfing the game has ever gotten as well. Let's get right on into it. This may be slightly long, read at your leisure. Don't worry, I'm making money off of it. This is very leisurable for me. After reading countless community posts and seeing the same frustrations resurface every patch, I think it's time to lay things out clearly. This isn't ranting, it's a plea for issues that must be addressed, with whatever that is. But first, thank you, Kuro Games. You have given us a game that redefines action combat. That is cool. Okay, so this is what you call a shit sandwich, where you're gonna start off this critique, right, with a bunch of compliments, put a bunch of shit in the middle. The compliments are one part of the are like the bread of the sandwich. Then you have all the shit, and then they're probably going to end it with another piece of bread that's full of compliments, right? This is typically what people do when they're not really presenting a great level of feedback, and they're basically just wrapping it in a bunch of compliments so it doesn't actually seem as bad. Bit of a warning sign over here that there's this much quote-unquote glaze before we start heading into some of the ridiculous critiques. So let's read off a little bit of the glaze first. Weapon banners that are guaranteed, simple daily quests, domains that are available any day, the super underrated loot mapper, and many more. Awesome, great, glad that we're talking about these things, right? So enough of the pleasantries though, let's get blunt. And that's basically, yes, this is a shit sandwich. Let's keep going. Part 1, the problem's still here. I like how this guy like puts in like this dumb little emoji after like every single post to like, it's just... When you read the stuff in here, it'll make more sense. So, the problem's still here. Some of these. So this is the thing. I took a bit of a pause there because some of the stuff that they list out here is actually pretty good changes. There is, however, a lot of garbage that's built into here as well. This first example over here is what I'll call an example of a good piece of feedback. Let's read out this one. You let returning players pull Augusta and gave them her boss mats, but not the flowers needed to ascend. Most of these players have barely reached Raguna, but you can't expect them to rush 15 plus hours of the story to level up their new character. This is a good point. This is, I think, the only good point that's in here. The only way that I would augment this is to also release Augusta's Sonata set early at the same time, right? The argument that they're talking about over here is that you don't have the flowers available, right? And I think the best way to show what I'm talking about is here. You don't have these flowers available until you're in the 2.6 region. And so you got to go through all the story up until 2.5, do the overture quest, all of that to unlock Sangui's Plateau. So again, right, not being able to level up the character beyond 60 without rushing the story, kind of a dog shit experience overall, right? Good point. Another way that I would add on to this, and I think something that the poster might have missed, is the fact that these Nightmare Tasks Discords, right, ladies and gentlemen, the ones that give you Augusta's set and the new Law of Harmony set, yeah, they're also in the new region as well. And so you can think about it this way. Every single day that you're not rushing the story, every single day that you're not skipping everything to get to 2.6, you are missing out on a full 36 spawns of all of these nightmare purification fields. So essentially, if you don't rush the story, if you're not caught up, you lose out on an insane amount of progression. Like, you lose out on all of this. Potentially, I mean, at this point, you got to get into 2.5 to farm this one. So if you're still stuck on 2.4, you're missing literally 108 spawns of echoes a day. That's about 30 plus echoes. And this is perhaps the most convenient way to kill 36 echoes in the game. And it's also one of the only spots to actually unlock these Sonata sets. So either provide early access for these, or I mean, it's just, yeah, just provide early access for these if you haven't unlocked them on the map yet. So that's the thing, right? There is one good point of feedback in here, right? And we've added onto it. Let's now address some of the rest, because this is where it gets, I think it's intention. I think the most agreeable point of feedback in this post, it's listed at the front for a reason, because it gets a lot more interesting from here. Let's keep reading. Number 2, release and forget characters. We spend money, sometimes unreasonable amounts. Free-to-plays grind for months just for characters to vanish from the story like they never existed. That's lazy and unfair. Old characters should reappear when the story logically calls out for them. Reruns give enough revenue, so there's no monetary excuse. Okay, so they've basically framed this entire situation as every single character in the game just disappears and never comes back. And the thing is that that's just categorically not true at all. Where we have numerous examples of characters that have reappeared again at logical points in the story. We also have examples of, well, let's just be honest here, characters that have appeared in the story before they've even been on banner. Does that not count for anything? I'm just wondering, does that just not count for anything either? Characters appearing before their banner, where we had Chikona in version 2.2 get introduced. A lot of people liked her from that one small short scene that we had. We had Cartithia teased since version 2.0, and then we have her coming back repeatedly in version 2.4, 2.5, and as well as 2.62. She's also making features over there. Then we're also going to have other situations where, and this is probably the most damning part of everything, is that Kuro's already confirmed that they're doing this. Are you ready for this? Because, well, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, most people have I would assume most people have actually seen this trailer that confirms that the entire cast is meeting up again, because it has 2.1 million views. The only people that I think didn't watch this are those that aren't Wuthering Waves players. Now, doesn't it make a lot more sense why this post got so massively upvoted? I don't think it's actually Wuthering Waves players upvoting this shit, because if you played it, you watched these trailers, you would know firsthand that this is going to happen. Look over here, guys. Oh dear. Raguna's gonna get hit by the Dark Tide. The citizens are evacuating. Brant's here. Rosia's here. Carlotta's here. Chakota's here. And of course, I think Phoebe makes an appearance. She's like fucking all giggly and shit for some reason. Look how happy she is. Probably because she's here as well. And this is the thing, guys. The trailer's called To the Finale. And so it's essentially saying this is supposed to be the final fight, the final showdown. And so all of these complaints over here about,
oh, the characters, they're not appearing back in the story. They're not doing all of this stuff.
Kuro literally told all of you 3 weeks ago that it's going to happen. However, if you don't play the game, you don't watch the trailers, how would you know that? Yeah, if you don't watch that trailer with 2.1 million views, how would you know that this is not going to happen? Oh, wait. Bit of a rough experience, isn't it? So, you can kind of see what's going on over here. They're not listing out examples of where Kuro has clearly said they're going to do what is literally on here. And they're giving, like, old characters should reappear where the story logically calls for them. Where's an example of it? Sure, right? You could use the idea of, oh, yeah, Phoebe, a low-ranking acolyte who literally gets told what to do by, like, another low-mid-ranking acolyte. Yeah, she should have been there to tackle Fenrico, even though she's literally the acolyte that they sent to go on a suicide mission in the Alvarado Vault in version 2.1. You guys remember that one? Yeah, they gave Phoebe a bomb to go blow up the Montelli Vault, and they implied she was supposed to die with it. She's not a high-ranking acolyte. She's a literal sacrifice, ladies and gentlemen. Why would she be deep-rooted in the church and personally take on Fenrico when she's literally like the person they sent out to go explode? Oh, wait. These guys are all talking about,
Oh, story. Oh, I paid so much attention.
they probably forgot that. Yeah, they probably forgot that happened. Oh, you guys want that exact cutscene where it happened? Maybe we can look it up, boys. Here we go. This is what the Order thinks about Phoebe. That was originally supposed to be a bomb that blew everybody here up. Because these people are getting hidden by the Order. Because they, like, went against them. They're getting hidden by the Montellis from the Order. And so they sent her to go blow the entire thing up with an artifact. But then we were able to disarm it so that it didn't actually explode and do that. That's how she's being used. The next example that we're probably going to be talking about over here, right, is, oh, why isn't Lupa showing up in version 2.6? Hey, guys. So, if you're all familiar with the version 2.4 story, what happened to Lupa was, she spent potentially hundreds of lifetimes dying and slowly had her personality completely replaced by a vessel of the Thronian through somebody else's powers, namely Cristoforo. And so she's basically spent God knows how long repeatedly dying over and over and over again and getting corrupted by the Dark Tide. She then literally solos Mia and like that entire situation to go break out of the Sonarosphere. Brother, perhaps there's a chance that she's recovering. That's one potential story reason for it. The other is the fact that clearly this conflict that happened in version 2.6, the story that we just played, the conflict in version 2.6 entirely centers around the prophecy. I can't believe I have to be like pulling up shit like this, but we're just gonna do it. Are you guys ready? Y'all surely got to remember this piece, right? Where we're like looking at the murals and the painting. Oh, wait, there was probably too much yap. It was probably too slow pacing, so everyone just our eyes kind of like glazed over and skipped over it. The focus of this arc in 2.6 is between Avidius and Augusta, and the conflict of who the hero of heroes is, where Augusta doesn't have the resonance ability and isn't viewed as an authentic leader, and so part of the reason why she's going on this hunt is to like reaffirm her authority. And so it's like Avidius is on the other side of the equation. He's backed by the Senate, and the Senate is going ahead and saying that Augusta's illegitimate because her forte's too weak. And so he's kind of like on the opposition side. And so the story, instead of focusing around Lupa, who's not involved at all in this main pivotal conflict, introduces a new character, Avidius, and then ties him to Cristoforo, and then makes that the main conflict. Because you know what, guys? Adding in Lupa over here would have been cool. But what would she have done without inflating the story for another hour or two? How would you tie her in when the conflict is clearly geared around the Senate? It's geared around like succession of the Ephor, and Lupa literally got disowned by the Silva family, and then also got them kicked out of the Senate too. So there's even an internal reason for why she's not there, because the Senate is probably pissed at her. Oh wait, we probably forgot, because it was 2 versions ago, that Lupa probably has some issues with some of the higher-ups in Septimont, because she literally got one of the families kicked out. And so they probably aren't on good terms with her, because she literally got one of the families kicked out. Yeah, that's how, like, politicking, that sort of stuff works. But unfortunately, the pacing of this quest, I guess, there was just too much of a discussion on the internal matters of Septimont. It wasn't spelled out clearly for some people, or we're just getting astroturfed. What questions are there? Because at this point, there are so many reasons for why certain characters aren't showing up. And yes, you could force the characters into the story. You could make it so that the characters show up just so that they get screen time. But that screen time is going to be so low quality, so low effort, and makes the story legitimately worse. Because you want to know examples of games that have literally done this? We got Zenless Zone Zero, that basically took a 30-minute intermission in their version 2.1 story, right? Where it's clearly centered around Alice, Minato, and Yazuha, right? And then they just take a 30-minute intermission to just go ahead and start advertising the newest on-banner characters. But hey, they're showing up again. Oh, isn't that so cool? Look, we got Orpheus. Look, we got Trigger. Look, guys, isn't that so cool? Look, Soldier 11's back. Oh, we got Seed too. Oh, look, wait, where is he? Oh, Orpheus and Magus as well. Oh, isn't this amazing, guys? They just spent 30 minutes doing advertisement for the new characters. Their involvement in this quest is so dog shit and trash, you're wondering why they're even here. But hey, you'll have mindless people telling you,
Oh my god, it was so amazing when Trigger showed up for 2 dialogues that were like pretty much unrelated to the quest.
oh, I loved it. Oh, she wasn't voiced either. It's like, look how long, like, just so you know, by the way, Yazuha at this point in the story, in ZZZ, she just got kidnapped and is getting experimented on as a science project. Yeah, that's what's going on. She just got kidnapped and is currently getting experimented on. And you spend this long just like having a chat with the playable characters. This is what you call dog shit pacing and dog shit story implementation, just for the sake of
Bringing in the characters when it counts.
brother, that's not how you tell a good story. And it's a major fucking issue in Hoyoverse games, but people are just gonna tell you,
Oh, we just want old characters to show up anyways. Fuck the quality of the story.
and this is probably the biggest example of it. It is insane. They don't understand the implications of a suggestion like this. Now, let's keep moving. We got even more, guys. Rover, the Mary Sue. Oh boy. Since 1.1, Rover has been written as invincible, flawless, untouchable. During Furlova's quest, for the first time, the Mary Sue curse was broken. Rover did not get to save the damsel in distress. Rover failed to acquire the blue gem. The game has like barely been out for a year, and you've already had like a couple of like devastating defeats. You also have situations where Rover gets saved from elements that are literally outside of their control. Guys, just so you know, at the end of version 2.2, fuck it, we'll play that part of the story as well. At the end of version 2.2, guys, when we go to Avenolium, do you know what actually happens? Do you guys know what actually happens? Cartithia actually does die. She actually does die, and then she's saved by Imperator's frequencies, not like Rover. Imperator is actually the one. They do the one good thing in their entire existence, and then they come in and are able to revive her. But it's not like us doing it. You could say, oh, Rover created Imperator, but then Rover also created a Leviathan. Because Imperator's dumbass decisions is why Leviathan is such a big threat. And so you can consider that another failure of Rover, the fact that they created the Sentinel that turned into Leviathan and is causing all these fucking problems. So it's like, even with like that sort of circular reasoning, it's completely off. So it's just like, saying that this is the only example of like failure when literally the plot of Renacida is due to the failure that Rover had in just creating Imperator in the first place, being the dumbest fucking Sentinel of all time. It's literally their entire fault that 2.0 is even going on and is an issue. It's because they made a flawed-ass Sentinel. That was trash. It's like, these guys have such a, like, low scope in terms of, like, their understanding of the story, consequences, flow, all of that. And they're just, like, making shit up based off the fact they don't have any clue what's happening in the story. And of course, astroturfers are gonna come in, eat all this shit up, be like,
Yes, Queen. Base Ed, you're so right. Yes, I reflect your thoughts entirely.
but they have such a surface level understanding of the story, probably because they read the synopsis on like Wikipedia and didn't actually play it because they're fucking astroturfers. And this is a great post. This is a great post to congregate all of your efforts on, because on the surface, it looks like it's well thought out. And on the surface, right, if you have a dog shit understanding of the story, it makes sense. But when you go just a level deeper and just revisit some scenes in the game, you can see how all of this falls apart. And don't worry, I've got other examples too. This was on your part, brilliant writing. You showed that Rover can fail, doesn't need to be a hero, and has their own subjective character flaws. Yes, that was actually revealed to us in 2.2 during the end quest, once again, when we find out what happened to Imperator. What happened to that brilliant writing? Guys, just so you know, Rover just had a failure, like a pretty big failure in 2.5. This is the 2.6 main quest part 1. And you want to know what else has happened at the end of the 2.6 main quest part 1? Yuno got deleted! Like, isn't the fact that nobody remembers her also a loss? Like, this is the thing, right? Maybe this is like a play on that. Maybe this critique is actually just a joke, right? They're not referencing what happened to Yuno as like a in-universe joke, but I don't really think so. I think they legitimately just don't know that Yuno is gone. And that's the thing. That is another level of loss. And to make the claim that the writing is dog shit when we've only played part 1, and it's clear that part 2 is gonna break down the fact that Yuno got fucking deleted from the minds of everybody. How does this even make sense to say right now? This version is a 2-part quest. We ended on one of the craziest, wildest cliffhangers in the history of the game. A character got deleted, and there's still a part 2. And they're saying, oh, why aren't you showing us more of these flaws? What happened to the brilliant writing? It's like, we are literally on one of the craziest cliffhangers the game has ever seen, and there's a part 2 of the quest. Like, maybe just wait. This is insane. Hopefully you're beginning to see how absolutely dog shit the critique in this post is. Let's keep reading. Please show us more of that. They currently are, you stupid idiot. Stop hand-feeding us the chronic everything will be okay arcs. This is the craziest thing is, this is literally, the stuff that they're asking to be fed is literally in 2.6. They just didn't understand the story enough to know that that's what they got fed. The story is literally too complex for them to understand. Hey guys, get ready for this. Get ready for this. I'm about to blow your socks off. Yeah, we're gonna show a pivotal scene from the 2.6 main story quest that I think if you were even trying to pay like the littlest bit of attention, you would understand the significance of it. Motherfuckers. Y'all remember this scene? Crazy, right? Why is she crying? Why are they focusing so much on this teardrop that falls from her face? Why are there literally tears streaming down her face? It's like these guys just didn't know that that happened in the story. Oh, where's the loss? Where's the defeat? Where's the tragedy? Where'd all the good writing go? And they didn't even catch up on this. They didn't even realize that this happened. That is how absolutely pathetic this entire critique is. It's disgusting. And the fact that it's being upvoted this highly just shows that all the people that upvoted this shit en masse, they didn't actually play the game at all. Because how am I able to bring up so many pieces of evidence from the most recent patch to just wipe all this bullshit away? It's insane. Let's keep reading. Side characters reduced to accessories. Too often, region characters just orbit Rover instead of being the absolute centerpiece of their own story. Cantarella should have been there till the very end. The point of Cantarella's story is that she willingly gave up the power of the second resonance awakening, knowing that it's one of the strongest things that can happen to a person. And so, her taking the sideline is like the theme of her character. She's a self-sacrifice. Like, Cantarella's entire arc is about self-sacrifice and like willing to give up something incredibly great to like allow others to succeed. You want to know how she exits the story in 2.2? She gives Cartithia not just the second resonance awakening, but also like the treasured family heirloom sword, Turbine. She gives her the sword, and then Cantarella's willing to literally give up her life to let them deal with the Thernodians' threat. She's literally willing to sacrifice herself.
But
not just the second resonance awakening, not just Turbine, but also her life.
they're doing something rather important.
That's the theme of her character. She's like literally like a juxtaposition. She seems like a what's it called, right? Like very devious, very selfish. The Phasalia family's known for being greedy. You know, doing all this stuff, poisoning for personal gain. And then her entire character is literally her just giving up everything to let others succeed. We are out here making these critiques based off the fact we don't understand anything about the characterization of these units. We don't understand anything. No story plot significance. We didn't understand any of it. And nobody upvoting this shit did either. It's pathetic. Cantarilla should have been there till the very end, and Jinxie's final confrontation should not have excluded Chang Li. Oh my god. Are they telling me that they wanted Chang Li just to be a spectator during this scene? Hey guys, they just wanted Chang Li to be a spectator for this bad boy. Y'all ready for this? Y'all remember this scene? They just wanted Chang Li to be here. Just cuz.
This one has heard your decision.
When it's literally supposed to be like Rover giving like permission for the Sentinel to like fully like it's such, this is one of the most powerful moments in the story. Literally one of the most powerful moments the Wuthering Waves story has ever had. And they just like, hey, we just wanted Chang Li to be there in the background. They're literally trying to make the game worse with this feedback.
What do you think of this?
Are we real? Like, does Chang Li belong in this cutscene? No, she doesn't, bro. This is meant to be all about Jinxie. It's all about Jinxie because she's literally unfreezing time and allowing the people of Mount Firmament to like start living again because they're literally statues.
And these guys are like, oh, we just wanted Chang Li in there.
You wanna know what Chang Li was doing instead of that? Instead of just being there, being a spectator? This is what happened to Chang Li, boys. Get ready for this one. Yeah, this is what Chang Li was doing.
How rude. This is not how we greet people here.
Y'all remember this?
Allow me to demonstrate the proper etiquette.
So we need to see Chang Li again after this. We can't have Jinxie time. This wasn't enough Chang Li for you guys. That's crazy. They're saying they just wanted some of the most pivotal moments in the story. Kartithia fighting herself. Jinxie going under her second awakening. And they just wanted characters whose part in the story has logically reached its conclusion. They just want characters to be there for the sake of being there. That is literally just Genshin level bullshit. And then they also want they also want Rover to just be Traveler. Just be an observer. Good God. Now, let's move on to the next point. The unreasonable lack of 4-star characters. I like to picture the how many times are we gonna tell you, old man, SpongeBob meme every time this comes up. Kuro, why do you adamantly refuse to give us 4-star characters? Probably because their first 2 4-star characters that they released were absolute dog shit. And the fact that people literally complained when the new 4-star characters came out because they were so bad. And this is the other thing when it comes to 4-star characters. The ask pretty consistently has been, maybe rework older 4-star kits. Why are you asking for new units when older kits could be changed instead? For example, they've already gone ahead and they added Spectrofrazzle to Rover, and you're instead suggesting that like new random forecasts get added to the pool when literally reworking the existing ones would be the right way to go about it. Because you want to know what happens when you dilute the pool with 4-stars that are either mid or extremely specialized? You completely brick your Afterglow Coral income. Because now, instead of getting a full pull refund every single time you pull a 4-star dupe above S6, you're going to be getting dupes of a random 4-star that you may or may not actually want. And this is the thing. You want to know what a massive problem in Genshin Impact actually is? It's the fact that Genshin Impact has so many fucking 4-star units. So many. And your chances of like actually pulling something good off the standard banner or pulling anything decent off of even the limited banners is crazy. They also have about 700 4-stars cycling through. And the more 4-stars that get added, guys, the less of a chance you have units like Sanhua, Mortefi, Danjin, etc., so on and so forth, actually showing up in here. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure the decision to not actively add more 4-stars is a decision that A, focuses on like the actual way that quality of life in the game can go down if too many are added, and B, there's a lot more work put into Wuthering Waves characters. And so this is the whole situation. I'm interested in more useful 4-stars, but at this point, reworking useless options on the roster is so much of a smarter decision than just demanding that people release new ones. So let's see some of the examples of the type of characters that these people want introduced. Carlotta only truly shines with Jeja. You can literally use Carlotta with Tao Chi or Yang Yang, and it's not bad. Like, that is literally an option that exists in the game. You could also use Carlotta with way more limited 5-star supports. So it's like, this is just like, the guy just doesn't even play the game either with the examples that he's bringing up. Talks about how Augusta can use Mortefi, but then doesn't talk about how Carlotta can literally clears with Tao Chi, and she has cleared with Tao Chi since, like, the beginning of time. Oh, Jesus Christ. So, let's read the above part. We would understand if you limited main DPS characters to 5-star. That's an acceptable compromise. It's just, this guy doesn't even try roster building and doesn't even bring up like decent examples. Like, this is the thing. You know this argument is half-baked when they're not even referencing 4-star characters with like debuff potential, right? Like Spectro-Frazzle or Arrow Erosion. If at least they mentioned like, oh, new 4-star units with that part of their kit, I would understand this a little bit. But that's not even noted. I think they're literally just making random shit up. The fact that that's not even mentioned on here just shows how half-baked this critique is. And so, again, I'll provide an actual better solution here, like we did for one of the other points, and that is literally rework older members of the roster to give them Arrow Erosion and Spectro-Frazzle. That's pretty much it. And the one new 4-star they should be releasing is a 4-star Spectro character, because there are currently none in the game. And my solution is, and always has been, A, add Arrow Erosion to either this character, or this character, or this character. Or maybe add Arrow Erosion to all 3 of them. Because let's just be honest here, their time in the game has kind of like been up to a lot of different degrees, where there are way better groupers than her, way better just everything than him, and like way better buffers than her, and so you can give them a bit of a competitive edge because they're some of the most unused units in the game. It's just stuff like that, right, that you know is gonna solve the problem, also not be as much of like a lift on the developers. It's just, that's a logical solution. It's no surprise that a solution like that isn't in this post. Let's keep moving on. The Huang Long problem. New players still choke on Huang Long. They literally added flight, you fucking dipshit. That is possibly the last fucking thing that people could be bitching about. They literally added flight to 1.0 and they just repeated this. How? How? What? This, just so you guys know, this post was made about 3 days into version 2.6. You know what? I take back what I said. I think this person is an astroturfer. This person straight up is an astroturfer. Them saying that there's still a Huang Long problem is 1,000,000%. This is entirely astroturfing. Good God. And to see this shit get upvoted so much, unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Good God. Now we got the Echo problem. We've been facing the same long-standing RNG issues. The main stat changer was very welcome. Thank you, but the main issue still remains, which are the substats. If you still have problems with echoes, there's something, I'm just gonna be honest. If you still have problems with echoes and like grinding echoes, the problem is you. I think we should just be done and settled with this. The problem is you. There's no doubt in my mind anymore. I think the only thing you can complain about with echoes right now are the nightmare purification fields and the fact that you can't like start spending wave plates on them to like refresh them and something like that and basically like convert them into tacit fields. That's the only thing that I can imagine right now that like makes any sense in regards to echoes. With main stat changers, with the fact that they just shit out tubes and tuners at you every single update, and let's just be honest here, the fact that I guess these echoes are, let's just be real, getting these echoes is rough. Getting an inventory of echoes to like level up on these new purification fields is rough, but the amount of tuners that you spend on these new sets is dramatically lower than the old sets that were 5-piece. The fact that these are 3-piece and you can mix and match just naturally means that you're going to have more viable pieces and spend less tuners in the long run. I think that's pretty much just a fact at this point, especially for like day one players or those that maybe have a little bit more experience on their account, right? If you're somebody that maybe started in like 2.6, this is probably not the case, but on average, you'll be spending less tuners on these sets. And so it's like so many of like the problems, yes, there are some small ones that have come out, like the purification fields not resetting, but that's literally something that gets solved with time. It's like they don't even list anything out. That's how you know this critique is astroturfed and dog shit. They say, oh, it's just substats. No solutions. No actual explanation of the issues or problems. Because you want to know why? There's literally a solution to every single problem. When it comes to echoes, it's just players refuse to use them. You want to know what they do? They'll complain about having a lack of tubes when literally the game has like already streamlined the entire process for you to the point where it's like if you're actively going ahead and you're not leveling like this, you'll have people that still do this and then complain about the lack of resources that they have on their account. If you're doing this when literally Kuro has given you a one-click button to not do this, you have a disease, right? Like, they literally gave you features so you can just level it one at a time, repeatedly, over and over, and just reveal the substats one at a time. If you still have problems with echoes, you're intentionally choosing not to use this, even though it's in the game. And if that's what's going on, and you're complaining, you're astroturfing. Just shut the fuck up. That's just how it is. Now, let's keep moving on. We've got even more bits of feedback, ladies and gentlemen. Minor, but still annoying. The following are not deal breakers, but boy, oh boy, would it be nice to do something about them. Okay, this is actually a decent point. Yeah, female Rover's English VA, she's fucking not doing her job right. Let's just be real here. Yeah, we know she has the potential to do her job better. Yeah, she's not doing very good. Yeah, I think that's okay. I'll give that one as another point. Performance is creeping upwards every patch. Low-end players who once had stable frames can barely play now. I think that the performance has been on and off in certain areas. It's actually gotten better in areas like the new weekly mode, but I think that, yes, Septimont does have some mild issues. So these two, actually not that bad. These two, somewhat accurate. Now, we have this post over here, guys. Apparently, there are spoilers for version 2.6, but I've had a bit of a thought come up in my head. When there have been this many suggestions talking about issues and problems in the game that are clearly not there, that you would have known are not there after playing version 2.6, is there even a fucking reason to read this garbage? Is there even a reason to read this? Knowing that they've said all of this stuff about, like, the low quality of the writing and the story, knowing that it's been completely proven wrong by all the stuff in 2.6. And so now they're going ahead and they're going to break down the 2.6 story with their dog shit understanding of it. Where the hell is Lupa? Okay, this guy's a fucking idiot. Let's keep moving on. All right, ending notes. Overall, like, it's just, like, we've already explained why Lupa isn't there, and that's the first point. I'm fucking over it. Let's keep moving on. Overall, the game has been improving with each patch, and you have done a fantastic job. Remember how I said shit sandwich, guys? And guys, remember when I said shit sandwich? One piece of bread, bullshit critique, and then the other piece of bread, with the bread being compliments and glazing? I didn't pre-watch this, by the way. That's why I spent so much time looking for glue. If I pre-watched it, I would have had the glue available immediately. Shit sandwich. Overall, the game has been improving with every patch, and you have done a fantastic job, but please elevate the roles of other characters in the story independent from Rover. No thank you, that will literally make the story worse just because you feel like you want to see, just because you personally feel like you want to see characters where they don't belong, and you want the story artificially extended by hours just so that the characters feel like they sort of make sense there, and then you end up with a dog shit story like ZZZ or any Hoyoverse game. Yeah, let's do that, guys. Oh, just kidding, don't, because Wuthering Waves' story is literally the best out of the big four. It's every single person that plays the big four games tells you the Wuthering Waves story is the best out of all of them. And you're literally asking for the things in other games that have worse stories to be added to WoWa. It's such a, well, again, it's astroturfed, so who cares, right? It's not, those upvotes aren't real. Make the game and the world itself be the main character. So on that note, Kuro, thank you and keep cooking. Shit sandwich. Shit critiques. Maybe 3 things in here that aren't complete trash. The female rover VA, the performance issue, sort of the 4-star part, and locked farming regions. Yeah, locked farming regions and Sonata sets. Those are the only things. But everything else in here, completely bullshit. Completely trash. And I'm not even going to go ahead and read this. I'm tired of this post. It's so clearly, absurdly astroturfed. It's ridiculous. And, yeah. You want to know the best part about all this, though? I think you go into this person's post, and, well, why do you think they hid their... Why do you guys think they hid their account with that much karma? 10K? That's a lot of updated posts. Why do you think their post history is hidden? Interesting. So, yeah, nice, short, open letter. Basically, this was an open invitation to astroturf the shit out of the game. And, you want to know the best part about all of this? The moderators of this subreddit left up this post the entire time, knowing it's clearly astroturfed, right? And then they deleted this post over here. They deleted this one, where the only thing that they're saying in here is a detailed breakdown of all the issues in the update. This is some of the best feedback the game has ever gotten. This is like professional level feedback, right? Some of the best stuff the game has ever gotten, and they immediately locked and deleted this. You want to know why they locked and deleted this? The post content of the post itself was fine, and we had never intended to block any constructive criticism. But the user was banned because their post came across as dismissive. A real, sincere, open letter. Hey, guys, this title, they banned somebody 14 days for this title. They said everything in the post was fine, but it was dismissive. So they banned somebody 14 days because of the title. Guys. We got the ban messages too. This shit is pathetic. You have been banned from participating in r/Wuthering Waves for 14 days. Please don't try to start drama by invalidating others' own opinions. You dumb fuck moderators. You literally started drama in your own subreddit by deleting one of the best critiqued posts ever because you're simping over Misaki Animated. You are simping over this fucking Reddit user. And you're like,
My queen! How dare they insult thee! Ban them immediately!
A 14-day ban because of a title. You literally admitted the entire post is 100% fine, but you banned them 14 days because of a title. Like, this title is a 14-day ban. Brother, this is pathetic. This has to be one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen a moderator do in my life. Like... 14 days?
Hey guys, one of the Wuthering Waves' subreddit's rules is that don't invalidate people's opinions and start drama. But the moderation team is gonna create the biggest subreddit drama ever because we disliked a title so much we had to delete an entire like 10 paragraphs and ban the person for 14 days because their title was so mean. My queen!
Pathetic. Pathetic. Oh my gosh, this is fucking embarrassing. This is legitimately one of the most pathetic fucking things I've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you're the one mod, I don't know who this is. I think this might be Genosaurus. Who knows? It's time to hang it up, brother. I don't think you're gonna recover from this one. And you wanna know the best part about this shit? This little pussy mod locked replies to his post. He didn't use his real name. Sorry, not his real name. He didn't use their Reddit name. They instead went with the mod team account, then locked replies to this post. What a little pussy bitch. Take some fucking accountability, you nerd. Use your username, unlock replies, and let people give you their feedback. You fucking coward. Like, Jesus Christ. How pathetic is this? How pathetic is this? I don't even know what to say, bro. Anyways, this is a bit of a wrap-up on the entire ordeal. This subreddit is entirely compromised. You have a, like, white knight pussa moderator who's, like, deleting posts and banning people for 14 days because, like, this... Like, this is enough to get a 14-day ban. And they're just gonna let up clear astroturfing posts filled with points that are just complete bullshit, made by somebody that didn't understand any of the game and any of the story, and are just leaving it up to be mass upvoted by people that don't even play the game, venturing here from Hoyoverse subreddits. That's just it. That is literally it. And all this feedback does is literally make the game worse. Why do you think it's getting upvoted so much? And why is actual feedback getting deleted and banned for 14 days? The moderators will find any reason at this point. 14 days for this, brother. It's time to retire. So yeah, that'll be that, ladies and gentlemen. This probably is the most pathetic issue I think I've ever seen for a game before. And I just find it so ironic, right? So ironic that the reason why this post was even deleted in the first place was to not create drama. It's funny what being incapable does to you and to your plans. That'll be that for this one. Let me know what you all thought. Peace.